What is it called?
Ozempic.
Ozempic. It is literally the hottest drug in the country.
People with diabetes are struggling to get their hands on a needed medication.
It mimics had you had like the stomach surgery, like in terms of appetite curbing.
Right.
I know this because yesterday someone told me that someone they know got it.
They were talking about the Kardashians. They were talking about how they lose all this weight and that this is what these people are taking.
So people are knocking on the door saying, come on, Hyman, hook me up. And you're saying no. Why?
Here's the deal, Chris. Ozempic and Wegovy and other related drugs are for type 2 diabetes. And they do take weight off by suppressing appetite in the brain. They make your stomach and intestines empty slower so you feel full. And it works, but it's really not the best long-term strategy because you have to take it forever, otherwise you regain the weight you lose. Plus there's side effects, nausea, vomiting, constipation, diarrhea. You lose weight, but it's often side effects. And then there's more serious ones like thyroid cancer, pancreatic damage, kidney issues, and other problems. So it's not a free ride, and everybody's looking for the quick fix weight loss solution. The problem is nobody's addressing the elephant in the room. If we look at America, 75% of us are overweight. If you do the math at $1,700 a month, that's about $425 billion to treat the 75% of Americans who are overweight. That's an enormous amount of money that we just cannot afford as a country. And the truth is that if you look at the root causes, it's our toxic food environment. A really important study showed that if you were given an unlimited amount of ultra-processed food compared to whole real food, you would eat 500 calories more a day. So the best way to cut your appetite is stop eating the processed food and eat real food.
If you want to lose weight specifically, you are going to have to use some form of restriction, right? Whether it's calorie counting, points, carb restriction, fat restriction, unprocessed food, whatever. You're gonna have to use fasting, you're gonna have to use some form of restriction.
Right, either some form of dietary restriction, calorie restriction, or time restriction. You have to do something there.
All of these things work because they restrict calories. That's also important to note.
There's a set of peptides in the body, and the peptide that I'm referring to today is called GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide 1, and some related peptides. I've talked about these on the podcast before, and there are also new prescription drugs that are now hitting the market, and for which there are really impressive clinical trials for diabetes and obesity that are essentially glucagon-like peptide 1 stimulators, so they stimulate the release of that, or they are in fact a synthetic version of glucagon-like peptide 1. What is glucagon-like peptide 1? It is a peptide, which is a small little protein that can dramatically suppress appetite. So that's why these drugs are being explored and are showing quite impressive results for things like treatment of type 2 diabetes as well as obesity.
The FDA first reported this low supply chain issue about 6 months ago. The reason behind it, high demand.
Because everybody's asking their doctor for it for weight loss, doctors can prescribe it off-label. And that means that people who really need it with diabetes are not able to get it because it's not available. They just can't manufacture enough of it. So that's the other downside of the problem.
Now, making it at home, I mean, that is going to light up everybody. Is there any understanding to this being safe and easy to do at home?
These drugs are peptides. Peptides are small little mini proteins that nature makes to do things in our body that it's supposed to do. And these GLP-1 agonists, Ozempic and others, are designed to work on the body's own system. And there are these compounds available online because they're not controlled by the FDA in the way they probably should be. And you can order them from various online websites. You can mix it up yourself and you can give yourself the shot at a fraction of the price. I don't know if that's a good idea or safe because we don't know what these compounds are manufactured with. They don't know if they're safe. We don't know how regulated they are. So I think it's risky business to do that. I just had a patient text me a picture today. She lost 134 pounds just by eating real food, getting rid of the crap. And now she's a completely different person and she has her life back and she doesn't have to be on a drug that costs $1,700 a month. So it's possible.